Pacific Marine Industrial Zone set to launch. Transport costs straining relief operations in Telefomin. The All Blacks are back-to-back champions.
This is National EMTV News with Miriba Tulo.
Thank you for joining us on the first day of November. This is Sunday's news. Police Commissioner Gary Baki says there will be no public forum tomorrow in Port Moresby. At a late press conference an hour ago, Commissioner Baki called on leaders of the opposition to have their meeting in a confined area like the UPNG Forum Hall or Sir John Guy's Indoor Stadium, where police would be able to provide crowd control. He said police will be in full force tomorrow to disperse any unruly groups of people. Commissioner Baki said this is a matter of governance and it should be practiced on the floor of Parliament and not outdoors in the public domain. Preparations are underway for Prime Minister Peter O'Neill to launch the construction phase of the Pacific Marine Industrial Zone in Madang on the 23rd of this month. This was announced by Minister for Trade, Commerce and Industry, Richard Maru. Minister Maru, in an interview with EMTV News, said the three-year court battle between landowners and the government has been withdrawn with an agreement to proceed on the construction of the industrial zone. Maru maintained the long-term benefits will assist project-impacted villages, Madang province and the country.
Minister Maru explained why landowners of the PMIZ project have agreed to launch its construction phase following issues regarding land ownership and environmental damages.
After we took them to Marine Park in the Philippines, where they saw that there was no mass pollution as they have been led to believe, I think the trip convinced them beyond a reasonable doubt.
The minister also announced a supplementary loan agreement signed with the China Exim Bank to extend funding during the 12-month construction.
Because under the initial term, we were supposed to have started that and completed the Marine Park by now. So we've had to arrange for an extension to now allow us to spend the next 12 months construction.
In addition, Maru said a public-private partnership agreement will be signed between Oilsets Limited and Water PNG to provide electricity and water.
NEC is now approved for us to enter into an agreement with Oilsets to build a power plant at their own cost, and PNG Water. You see, if the government was to fund those two major services which are so critical to the success of the Madang Marine Park, we would have to go and find over $500 million to come and fund them.
Minister Maru maintained this will be one of the country's biggest development projects.
It's a key milestone of this government to finally get this project started. As I've said before, when we complete the park and locators actually are located in the park, we expect to employ up to 20,000 Papua Guineans within the marine park. And also we will benefit from the increased value of exports of our fish.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill is set to launch the construction phase of the project on the 23rd of November. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Polling for the Ijivitari by-election will begin on Saturday, November the 21st. Ousted member David Arore is amongst a strong list of 21 candidates contesting the seat, but he is confident of reclaiming it. Yesterday, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill flew into Popondetta to endorse Mr. Arore's candidacy under the People's National Congress party banner. He even rallied voters to support Mr. Arore and the PNC party. Delivering goods and services to remote Telefomin district remains one of the greatest challenges for local MP Solan Mirisim. Mr. Mirisim, who was delivering relief supplies to areas affected by the current drought in his district, said a fifth of the district's budget has been spent on transportation. However, he was given a timely assistance from the PNGDF's Air Transport Wing last month to deliver much-needed relief supplies to people affected by the current dry spell.
While some districts are better off and enjoy fast delivery of goods and services, it has not been easy for Telefomin district in the West Sepik province. The district has no roads linking it to other parts of West Sepik, making it one of the country's most isolated areas. The only way into Telefomin is by air, and for the last 3 years, the district has been chartering airplanes and choppers to fly in goods and services. Faced with transportation issues, the MP for Telefomin went out of his way to seek help from the PNG Defence Force to airlift food supplies into drought-affected areas in Telefomin.
They have about 49 tons of cargo to move to Telefomin. At this stage, we cannot move it over there because the railway condition doesn't allow us to put a casa in there. Next best option is to move it to Tabubil. So far, we have done 5 trips. We moved 15 tons and we anticipate to move another 12 tons. So we would have done probably 21 by the end of tomorrow. And then we're done back to Moscow.
People of Telefomin, Yapsi, Oksapmin and Edwaki were given relief supplies last week, worth over 500,000 kina. The funds were from the district's DSIP, including the National Disaster Office.
I would like to thank the All Indian government, which is who is very concerned about its people in this country and coming down to assist in this disaster relief situation.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mirisim called on the Sundown Provincial Government to assist the people of Telefomin who are affected by the current dry spell. Stanley Oved Jr., National EMTV News.
Preparedness for disaster is crucial. People have to be aware of what and how to do things when disasters strike. Chief of Mission for the International Organization for Migration, or IOM, in PNG, George Gigauri, made this point during the opening of their Wabeg office last Thursday. Florence Jonduo with this report.
The opening of the IOM office in Wabeg will enable IOM to work with the communities in addressing various issues, starting with the current issue at hand, which is the drought.
The main focus, of course, will be the drought, food security and water. But specifically working in the highlands, we will focus on displacement and displacement due to tribal conflict and sorcery-induced displacement.
Mr. Gigari pointed out various activities they have in store to help the people in Enga province.
First of all, we hope to drill some boreholes and improve the water supply and water management in general. We hope to train communities on conservation agriculture, how to diversify your crops, how to do disaster-resilient agriculture, and how to prepare for future disasters. And also we hope to do some disaster risk reduction work and work together with the provincial administration.
Also present at the opening was U.S. Ambassador Walter North. Ambassador North expressed fascination on what he had witnessed the people doing to help themselves during this time of drought.
One big takeaway for me, and it's not something I should be surprised about, is that there is tremendous resilience in the communities that live in the highlands. We're also retrofitting another program we have, which is for about $2.75 million on disaster response and readiness, to use some of that to support the ongoing response to the disaster.
Florence Jonduo, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. Coming up, Porgera Justice Foundation questions $298 million deal, and the Prime Minister happy with first APEC forestry meet. Don't go away. Welcome back to the news. A $298 million deal between Barrick New Guinea Limited and Chinese mining company Zijin Mining has been questioned by the Porgera Justice Foundation. Chairman Jonathan Paraya said they are concerned with the Chinese company acquiring 50% of shares in the Porgera joint venture, as they are yet to acquire reports if Zijin Mining is a registered foreign company operating in PNG. Paraya said they have written to the Investment Promotion Authority in July this year, but are yet to receive any formal notice.
We as the landowners, we don't know whether that involvement is legally correct or not. And we have asked the Investment Promotion Authority to advise us. And they haven't done that. Because as a foreign enterprise, pursuant to Section 28(4)(a) of the Investment Promotion Authority, they need to be registered with IPA in the country. And if they haven't done it, they are undermining the law of this country.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has congratulated Forestry Minister Douglas Tumuriesa on the successful staging of the first ever APEC meeting of ministers responsible for forestry. The meeting concluded last week with the release of the EDA statement, an agreement by all APEC member countries on a range of measures expected to strengthen the forestry sector in Papua New Guinea and around the Pacific. The ministers committed to increasing forest cover in the region by at least 20 million hectares of all types of forests by the year 2020. Mr. O'Neill said to reach this target, ongoing cooperation was needed between APEC member economies as well as capacity building and efforts to prevent the sale of illegally harvested timber. He said this first APEC ministerial meeting to be held in Papua New Guinea is an example of what the nation can expect from subsequent APEC meetings leading up to 2018. A 5-year navigation chart of the Pacific's largest regional development organization is being discussed for endorsement by officials from 26 countries and territories of the Pacific community. More than 50 SPC member representatives and development partners, including the United States and European Union, are attending the Niue-hosted conference, which began on Friday and ends tomorrow.
Island warmth and hospitality greeted delegates as they touched down in Alofi, Niue, for the Pacific Community's 45th Committee of Representatives of Governments and Administrations, better known as CRGA, and 9th Conference. An important occasion for the Pacific's largest development organization, as among top priorities it seeks the endorsement of its strategic plan for the next 5 years from the 26 member countries and territories that govern it.
All organizations need to have a plan, a navigation chart, if you like, for us over the next 5 years. Sets out the direction we're heading, the priorities we should, adopt in terms of our work, how we engage and work with our members. So the plan's really important because that is, in effect, sets up everything that we do over the next 5 years. Whether it's agriculture or public health or geoscience or gender or youth, we have to get endorsement from our governing body.
SPC, the principal scientific and technical organization in the region, has been serving Pacific Island member states for over 6 decades. This is the first time that the organization's governing body is convening on the Rock of Polynesia.
In 6 to 8 years, this is the first time CRGA in conference held here in Niue. And more importantly also, with Colin as Niue, the Director General, it holds significance and importance to us. Also like to acknowledge that a former Director General, Young Vivian, Honorable Young Vivian, also served time in SPC as Director General. So bringing that here to Niue, it's significant.
More than 50 SPC member representatives and development partners have been attending the meeting hosted in Niue, which started on the 30th of October and ends tomorrow. Also high on the agenda are the Pacific Framework for Regionalism and ways of capitalizing on the strengths and opportunities within the region to build resilience based on the event theme of Resilient Pacific People Turning the Tide.
Nauru is very proud to be a member of SPC, and we want to continue working with other members in making sure the Pacific community, which is our organization, continues to assist member countries in their development, in the work that the Pacific community carries out.
The Pacific Community's 45th CRGA will be followed by the organization's 9th biennial conference on the 4th and 5th of this month. Neville Choi, National EMTV News.
You're with Sunday's News. We have Trukai Sports coming up after the break, and the All Blacks have done it again. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Manus has successfully defended their Besta Championship title after defeating Madang by 1 goal in the grand final in Lae. In a hard-fought affair, Manus held on to the only goal of the match to be crowned champions for 2015.
Manus had to overcome a feisty Kaupa in the semi-finals the day before and looked sharp against the Medang outfit who'd beaten LFA to advance. Manus taking the lead early and ramping up the style before Richard Lotte with a brilliant strike after Langarap Samol would dispossess Medang FC skipper Max Sigam and set him up with a through ball. Throughout the first half, Manus dominated. The memory of a painful 4-1 thrashing in the ONG game still raw as the NGI champions look to impose themselves in the match. The second half, however, was a different story. Consecutive free kicks and corners going the way of Medang, and the earlier Manusian composure was lacking. Former Hekari teammates in Neil Hans and Emmanuel Irem fighting hard, but the solitary goal remained Manus, the first team from the NGI to successfully defend the Besta Cup title. Dion Kombeng, National EMTV Sports.
Papua New Guinean champion swimmer Ryan Pinney was awarded the Best Male Athlete in Oceania for the Association of National Olympic Committee in Washington, D.C. Pinney was recognized for his achievements during the 2015 Pacific Games, where he claimed 7 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze medals for Papua New Guinea. He was delighted to receive the award and thanked ANOC for recognizing his achievement. The Inter-Royal Turagus have been successful in their Singapore Sevens tour, making it through to the finals. After a narrow loss to the French development team 19-5, they've gone on to thrashing the Swedish Vikings team 36-0 and are scheduled to take on Sri Lanka later this evening in the plate final. Butler Morris and Tisa Kautu are said to have had a strong impact on the team's performance over the past 2 days. And that's where we end Trukai Sports. Up next, we have your weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Quick look at the weather for the next 24 hours. First of all, in the southern region, showers and thunderstorms expected in Port Moresby. In the Momasa region, mostly fine and dry for a while, brief showers expected elsewhere. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly brief showers over the next 24 hours. And in the Highlands region, showers expected tonight with morning fog. And that's how it is today, Sunday, November the 1st, 2015. Stay tuned for MTV's Vocal Fusion Battle of Two Seasons right after the break. On behalf of the MTV News team, have a pleasant working week. Good night.